What's up? What's up? What's up?
Happy midday, young people.
Happy midday, you guys. I'm so excited. We are midday live. We are midday live with a few kiddos that are in the other office playing teacher. So it's going to be exciting. We may get a few interruptions. Hopefully, we don't. Today is the last day of
Last one.
Christmas break for these kiddos. And I can't even be more excited. You just don't understand. We literally had a call. We've had three calls this morning that we've had, and one of them was an epic fail on my end. I saw a post. I didn't show you yet. I saw a post on Instagram where it was mothers, and they were at a meeting, and you just kept seeing the mothers get up and say, excuse me," and it was a different comment for each one where it was, "Oh, this mother found out that the nurse from the school just called the kids and they had to leave the event. Another mother found out that they thought they put something on for the kids, but now they're downstairs with the adults, so they had to say excuse me." So it was all the different things that happens as a mother when you have kids, and they just want to do what they want to do. They just want to be kids. So I'm excited. You're excited? We're
Yes.
excited. We have Emmy waiting in the back. She is waiting to get on. She is waiting to share her knowledge, her expertise. I am so happy. We met Emmy about 2 years ago.
Yeah.
About 2 years ago, at a conference right here in Birmingham. Um, and she has a wealth of knowledge. So I can't wait
Yes.
to add her on. I can't wait to ask her a few questions. Um, let's do it.
Let's roll.
All right.
Tony up.
Hey guys,
What's up, Amy? How are you?
I am great. Happy Friday. We made it through the week.
We made it to the week, and honestly, I needed to back up a little bit because it went by entirely too fast.
Yeah,
Thanks to Monday being New Year's, and I needed to back it on. I need to back it on up. How's things
yeah.
been on your end?
It's been good. I also have kids. I'm a full-time single mom to three boys. So, and then I actually had COVID. It was crazy right after Christmas. I was like, dude, something's wrong. I feel weird, like weirder than normal, right? And so I took a COVID test and it was like, boom, right away. I think one of the boys brought it home. So I've been laying in bed and they're older. They're 12, 14, 17, and they're back in school. I can't believe yours are still off.
That's what it's saying. I'm like, well, what do you mean? We've been off since I think the 16th or the 17th,
I know.
and they're still off, and that's enough.
Well, that's a
You know,
long break.
1 week
Yeah.
is good, 2 weeks is good.
Yeah. Beyond that, it's just crazy town. But yeah, I mean, things are great at home. I feel much better. If I cough, that's why. And then also things at work are insane. It was a bad time to be sick because everybody, when it comes to their marketing for their real estate businesses, whether or not they're realtors, brokers, investors, they're all ramping up. A lot of those people that were like, I'll talk to you in December to prepare for January, they were busy bees and are now coming to me in January saying, let's have that conversation now. And it's just swarming. So it's a good problem to have, but I'm just like, I've got a lot of moving parts.
That's a great problem. I'm glad you're feeling better. I'm glad things are going better on
Yeah.
your end. So I want you to
Yeah.
tell everyone a little bit about yourself. Tell them who you are,
Yeah.
who you're with,
Yeah.
and why are you the expert right now in this market?
Yeah, love it. So a little bit about me just as a person, and I might see some of you guys at the conference at the end of January. I hope I do. If you've already signed up, I can't wait to meet you. If you haven't signed up yet, I'm telling you what, I mean, they already said how I met them about 2 years ago in Birmingham. And I borderline like stalked them to get them to have conversations with me so that we could partner because it's very, I've been in this industry now for about three years and I've met a lot of coaches and mentors and these these folks know what they're doing and they actually care about their students. Not to say that all the mentors don't care, but there's something special about these guys. And for me to hound somebody like that, they've got to be really special to me. So I'm so happy to be here. But yeah, just a little bit about me. I live in St. Louis, Missouri. I work for REI Print Mail. We do direct mail marketing for real estate investors. Our parent company is Graphic Connections Group, and we've been doing marketing for about 31 years. So it's a small Christian family-owned company here in St. Louis. We've been around for a long time. And about 17, 18 years ago, we realized there was a need for marketing in the real estate investing industry, specifically when it comes to direct mail. And previously, I used to be married. I have the 3 boys I was telling you about. I got divorced about 4 years ago. Kind of one of those situations where I was a stay-at-home mom. I did a little bit of personal training and I taught women self-defense on the side. It was very part-time, more just to like get out of the house and do what I love, which is really martial arts. And I just love people so much. So it kind of filled my tank, right? And when I got divorced, I said to my ex, I was like, what am I supposed to do? I was 37 at the time, and he's like, man, you can make a friend with a tree. You got to get into sales. So I hopped into this, and I have my boys full time. So I dual, parent, and then I do this and put on a lot of hats during the day. But but yeah, I love what I do. I really do. I mean, I needed. It was to the point where I was like, I need a job like yesterday. And, when I thought about direct mail, I was like, that seems a little boring, being totally honest with you. But once I got in here and realized that actually what I do is not just sell paper all day long. I don't take orders. We're not just a mail house, even though we do all the printing here on site. If you all came here and saw our facility, you would be like, this is insane. It's so much more than just about mail. I literally get to have conversations with people all day long, on the phone, over Zoom, sometimes in person. That's why I love to travel. I love being on stage and commanding the attention of a room and getting to provide a solution for people who are like, dude, I want to become an investor. That's what I want to do. I'm here to learn. And once you learn it, you can say I'm an investor, but until you're actually doing it, sorry to say, you're really not an investor, right? It's that action. That's where my personal training background comes in. Someone comes to me and says, girl, I want to lose 20 pounds. I'm going to do what I can to help them do that. And it's all about the action. So I'm the bridge from y'all doing the education over to, okay, how do we actually become an investor? How do I start closing deals? So to kind of back up a little bit, that's why I love my job. It's not because I get
Absolutely.
to sell mail all day long. People come to me and say, my lead flow is dry, right? Or I'm starting out and I don't want to do it on my own. That sweat equity thing, that ain't for me. So that's where I get to come in as an expert, because what we do here at REI Print Mail is we actually track which mail pieces are working and which ones aren't working in each market. For example, I would never send the same, I don't think anybody would do this, send the same mail piece to California as I send to Chattanooga, Tennessee. Okay, because those are completely different
Actually,
markets.
you're absolutely right. I want to dive into that a little bit.
Yeah,
Let's talk about marketing as a whole. There's so many different channels when it comes
yeah,
to marketing. And a lot of people don't know the different channels when it comes to marketing. Antonio, we argue about this all the time because he feels like advertising, marketing, branding, all of that is one thing. Why do you even name it 100 different things when it's all? What do you
just the
think it is?
same
It's all
under
just
one
marketing, or
umbrella.
it's all advertising?
It's all telling people what you do and who you are.
And I think it's a
Yeah,
form.
yeah.
But I think direct mail is it's really a niche. It's really a niche. Hey, you guys, I see Tommy on here. I see Latanya. You guys go ahead and drop some comments, drop some Emmy, hey, say hey Emmy in the chats. And I
Hello.
want you to share it with anyone who's interested in marketing, anyone interested in building their brand and their business. because we're
Did
gonna.
I know I stepped out for a second.
Okay,
Did I miss? What question did you ask? Let me ask that question.
Emmy did an intro.
Emmy did an intro.
That's where we are.
So in that intro, was it a clear picture of who Emmy works with?
Yes, Emmy said
Yep.
that she's with REI Print Mill.
Not who she works for, but with.
No,
Is
she
there
didn't.
what's the ideal what does a client look like to REI Print? Who do you guys
That's a
service?
great
Ooh,
question.
that's a great question, Tanya.
That's a great question. Ideally, okay, so I have a lot of favorites, and my clients who are my favorites, I'm not talking personality, but it's the people. Honestly, it's the people. I love working with broker investors or realtor investors, because if you think about it, a realtor has an extra tool in their back pocket that they could list the property, right? If you couldn't come up with a sale price. But honestly, someone who's a good closer. Because here's the thing, I'm what all of you guys will find about me is that I'm really, really protective of people's budgets, which might sound like a weird thing to say. I could probably make $100,000 more than I do if I weren't protective of people's budgets. But I've told people before, why don't you wait 2 months? There's no hurry. Get your systems in place. Make sure you're prepared, because I'm taking my time and your money, and we're going to do something here. I want to make sure that you're ready. So people who have, who are good closers, who know what they're doing, who have really clear systems in place, who's going to answer the phone? Who's going to do the follow-up? How are you going to keep track of the people that you need to remove from your list? Because I send direct mail. I pull the lead list, right? The motivated sellers list, and then we send mail to those people, mail pieces that I know are working. And so your phone's going to start ringing. And if you don't know how to handle that phone conversation or what to say to them, it's going to be a tough road for you. So really anybody who's very serious about their business and genuinely wants to grow and is willing to put the work in and is curious and listens to what I say, the quicker I can build trust in my conversations with my prospects, honestly, the better that they're going to do, because it's I'm really, not to toot my own horn, I'm really, really good at what I do. And if people just trust me and listen to me and are organized, then we're good to go. So it's people who want to grow their business and close deals, whether or not they're flipping or wholesaling.
Okay.
I really like that, because the thing that you just touched on was what mail pieces work in different markets.
Right.
And I think it's a lot easier when you know what's tested, what's tried, what's being
Yeah.
done,
Yeah.
versus getting out here and you're trying to guess. In my opinion, marketing is trial, it's about error, but it makes it so much better if people have tested it out before you, so that
Yep.
you're going in and you're not wasting that time trying to figure out, well, is this going to convert?
Yeah.
Are people going to be engaged by this? What
Right.
moves the people? Is it
Yeah.
color? Is it the feel? Am I trying
Yeah.
to have, we struggle with this all the time. Do I want a sleek look? Like, who's my
Yeah.
clientele? Is my
Yeah.
clientele an older crowd where I need a sleek look? Or
Mm-hmm.
is it a younger clientele where it's fun and it's vibrant and it's
Yeah.
catchy and it needs to
Right.
catch them? But
Yeah.
marketing has so many different pieces when it comes to it, and you really have to know who your audience is,
Mm-hmm.
what excites them, what makes them happy, and
Yeah.
how can you deliver a message that's going to be eye-catching, but it's going to get them to convert.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I mean,
What
first step. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm listening. Amy. Go.
Oh, I was going to say,
Tell
first
us the
step
first
is to
step.
make sure your mail piece doesn't get thrown away. Because I don't know about you guys, but when I get my mail, it didn't even come into the house. I've got my recycling bin outside. Yes, I recycle. And so I stand over the recycling bin and I just like, right? So that's the thing is it's really, really important to know which mail piece to send. And one of the biggest complaints I get is direct mail is expensive. It's expensive. And my response to that is always this. I think it's a pretty good response, is that when you do it incorrectly, it is expensive. I.e., when you call a mail house and say, can you send out that yellow letter that my cousin sent last month? He had great results. a mail house is going to say, awesome, sure, because they want the commission. And the number one rule of marketing is consistency, right? Be consistent. So you're telling yourself
Right.
that in your head. Okay, month one, oh, okay, well, I just got to be consistent. Month two, no deals. I just got to be consistent. They're 6 months in, 10 grand out the door, nothing to show for it, because they sent the wrong mail piece and they didn't know. So that is why I love my job so much, because I'm avoiding all of that crap. And 6 months in, they're at 300 grand, right? Because we sent the right mail piece.
Just said that marketing is important. It absolutely is. Let's absolutely,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely.
Is
Yeah.
there and you kind of maybe touched on it a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
is there a trait that you see the successful ones have, the successful clients you have? What is that common trait? What is that common characteristic that they have?
Yeah, dude, your questions are phenomenal. I could just stay here all day and chat. I love it. Yes, I would say someone who is really personable, someone who is relational. Um, it's a lot of these deals are done over the phone and via text, right? Especially if you're doing it like in a different county or whatever, like virtually. So someone who's really good with people, because at the end of the day, the majority of the people that we're reaching out to, they're in some sort of distress situation. Maybe their home is distressed, or they're getting divorced, right? I didn't have to sell my home, but had I had to, there's no way I would have wanted a realtor to come in. It would be too sad, right? Or financially, they're in distress. So if you can, the people that I love working with are the people, honestly, that, not to sound weird, but are kind of like me in the way that I approach other humans. Is it's like, okay, you're another person. At the end of the day, we're not just business people. It's not just about business. It's about us as just humans. We're all doing the best that we can. So what are you needing? And let me offer that solution. Same thing goes for when you're buying a property. Finding out what's that person's story, what's going on in their life, and how can I help them? And if it's for me to buy their property, awesome. So I love, to answer your question, people that can connect easily with others, they end up being the most successful clients that I have, not the ones with dollar signs in their eyes who just want a quick deal. I also
Ooh,
really,
that was important.
I thought you like that. And then also really organized people, organized, because anytime you're doing marketing, if you don't know what your KPIs are, if you're not keeping track of what's going out financially and what you're getting in for it, you're just gonna sink.
Absolutely. You guys, we heard that acronym twice. We heard that acronym yesterday when we talked to Rowdy. KPIs, your key performance indicators. Those
Mhm.
are so important. And that's
Mhm.
really what separates you from being a rookie to really
Mhm.
having a business. And no matter what type of business you're in, it really sets you apart because you know what it is that you're doing. You understand what you're doing. The numbers
Mhm.
don't lie. As
Mhm.
much as sometimes we don't like to face the reality of the numbers don't
Yeah.
lie. And
Yep.
KPIs are metrics that are so important in whatever business that you're in, because every business needs marketing. Every business has to measure what they have going out and coming
Yeah.
in. And
Yep.
especially real estate. A lot of people take real estate for granted, but especially real estate. How many
Mhm.
offers are you making? How many
Mhm.
times are you making offers a week?
Yeah.
How many are getting accepted, how many are not getting accepted? It's a
Right.
numbers game, and once you find that number, then you can really increase your marketing because you find out what that conversion rate is based on what you're putting out.
Yep.
So make sure you measure your KPIs, even if you got to measure it on a spreadsheet. All right, Google Sheets is free. You don't have to have a major system for it. If you got to do it on Google Sheets, if you got to do it on a notepad, just start doing it so that you can really take heed to what's working and what's not working in your marketing
Right.
efforts.
Yep.
All right. Another question. I know that you
Okay.
guys work with a lot of investors. It's not that good, but I know you work with a lot of investors in Birmingham.
Mhm.
What are the top one or two pieces that you see working? Is it the yellow letter? Is it the
Postcard.
postcard? Is it the
Yeah.
I seen one the other day that was like super amazing. Like with the is it one with the check already
Yeah.
pre-printed? Like what's
Yeah.
one or two pieces that you see working the best in the Birmingham market or the Alabama market?
Yep. Great question. Honestly, it's direct offer. And you mentioned the check. So it's basically where you're sending, we call it a soft offer, where you're putting an actual number on the mail piece. And it's not a lot of people are doing it. In fact, we've had, so it's interesting. It's actually this mail piece. It looks like a check.
It does.
People get that in the
Ooh,
mail.
that's the
I would
one.
open
That
it.
was
That's
it.
the one. That's
Yeah.
the one.
Who doesn't have 10 seconds to open it? You know what I mean? And then, so when they open it, it has a number there, and you're taking the estimated home value of the property when I pull your data, and you're offering a percentage of that. That percentage can be, it's to each his own, and it explains what the heck this is. It's crazy because we've had this mail piece on our website for probably 2 years. And I had a client, she's in Arizona, one of my favorite ladies, she's a powerhouse. She was using 3-page offer letters, spending tons of money. She was sending them in these blue envelopes. It was super cute, but she was painting the nose for it, but it was working. So she didn't really care, right? It stopped working. For whatever reason, it just stopped working. And so last year, December, she called me. And anytime she calls, I always answer because she's one of those people where it's like, you better freaking answer. And it's always a really intense conversation. I'm like sweating by the end of it. And she was like, it stopped working. And I was like, let's try this check. And I was nervous because I didn't have a ton of data on it. And I told her that I don't have a ton of data on it, but it will get your phone ringing. 3 months later, she officially became a millionaire because of that check and invited me to Cancun to speak in front of 200 investors.
Let's
I kid you
go.
not. And I went and I spoke on stage in Cancun about that mailer. And ever since then, my colleagues and I have biweekly meetings where we write on a whiteboard what's working. 90% of what we're sending are these checks. There's also this other one, very similar, where it's like perforated down the side, right? And here's the thing,
Ooh.
guys, this is what's interesting. I had this guy tell me on the phone, he was like, I get tons of those. I wouldn't open that. That wouldn't work for me. And I was like, oh, so you've been in pre-foreclosure? Or you've been bankrupt, or you've gotten divorced? And he was like, okay, touche. That's the thing. It's not just the mail piece. I know, yeah, I can get pretty brazen. It's not just the mail piece. We have to make sure the data is right. Because if that goes to just a John who's like living life and has no issues, he's going to be like, that's ridiculous. I'll probably get pissed off. So if we're pulling good data, which we just purchased a data company, so we now provide our own data. If they're motivated and they get that, it's like a match made in heaven. So that's why
It's a
these
match
have been
made in
working
heaven.
so well. It is. It really is. Yep.
We're not gonna glance over that. We can't glance over that. It's purchased a data company. Like that's epic because everything goes around data. So
It
now
does.
you know who to target. You know who's potentially going to be in pre-foreclosure, who's applying
Yep.
for bankruptcy. You know who just got married.
Yeah.
What else do you know?
Oh my gosh, we know who died. We know who is behind on their taxes. I kind of feel like a creeper as I'm saying this. We know who's in pre-foreclosure. I mean, it's like if you own, I love this list. If you live in, let's say, Oklahoma, you know, own a property in California, you've owned it for 20 plus years and you're having tax delinquency issues. That's a great list, you know.
That's a
Great
good
list.
list. Oh,
Yeah.
So
So
I know that a lot of newbies watch us, a lot of people that's trying to get into investing watch us. So I want to make sure that we break it down to the simple to where they understand. So
yeah.
what you are articulated is you have a data source that's in-house that you guys purchase, and you pull that data with a combination of different factors and you mail to those people these, I can't say the word.
Specific.
Yes, that word right there. Pieces of mail.
Yeah.
And that's what gets the phones ringing. That's what
Yep.
get deals done.
Yep.
People
Exactly.
that are not in the real estate world always say there aren't any deals out.
Yeah.
And the thing that we try to communicate and tell them that you're not in the circle to get deals. If you're not talking to an Emmy who have a list, who have marketing, who have data, you're not going to your local meetups. You're not in the circle to get deals.
So your deals aren't going to just magically fall from the sky.
They
Because
don't.
even Emmy has to look to see what works and track them and make sure that it's going to work for your market. Dixon, wow. And Candace said, whoa, game changer. How can I pay access to her base? This huge. Listen, it is huge. So Candace is.
I just love I love the energy.
Right.
Yes.
Candace is an investor and a realtor. So honestly, Candace, this is really huge for you because you can play it from two ends. A lot of realtors in our market aren't taking advantage of people like REI Print Mail when it comes to sending out. And that's why the MLS listings are down because when I say realtors, are you marketing? Realtors are marketing on Facebook. They're listing their houses and they're saying, hey, come do business with me. But you're not finding out, okay, are they distressed? What's going on? Is it a foreclosure? Is it a bankruptcy? How can I get access to this deal to put it on the market so that I can really help the client versus just selling houses? So honestly, Candace, if you meet Emmy's coming to the conference. I know you're coming to the conference. So I want to make sure you guys make a connection at the conference because you can really change the way realtors are really doing business in Birmingham. And I think you'll be a great testimony on how it changes and it increases.
Yes.
And it takes your business by far from an investment side because you can decide, okay, well, am I going to use this? Is this an investment property or is this something that I need to list?
Yeah.
Okay, so Miss Harris put blind marketing. I would say it's not really blind marketing because you have the data to back it up. So,
well, I guess what is blind marketing? What part was she referring to as blind marketing? I think she might have been saying realtors right now are doing blind marketing.
Realtors are doing
blind marketing right now.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's interesting because when people call in about those checks, the reason, kind of back to your question, the reason they're working so well is because other people aren't really doing them. It's a newer thing to be doing. And she said yes. And when someone calls, they're going to say something like, they're going to say, hey, this is John. I got this check in the mail. Can you really get me $150,000 for my property? And I always tell my clients, your first job is to make a friend with them. I know I sound like I'm teaching kindergartners, but that is your first job, is to make a friend, because I'm telling you what, no one wants to do business with someone that they do not like. When was the last time that you had asshole salesman that you were like, I don't care what the product is, I'm out, right? It's a thing. So I always tell my clients, just make a friend. It's just have a conversation. And that's why I love people who are very personable. And then you're going to answer the question by saying, well, first of all, thank you so much for calling. Second of all, I hope to fall within that ballpark range, but it really just depends on the condition of your property. So do you have 30 minutes for me to drop by tomorrow? You want to get to their property. And once you get there, there's not a lot of fluff in the conversation because there was already a number on the table. So I have clients getting homes under contract at that first meeting. Whereas if you send a normal postcard that's like, hi, I'm a local investor, I might want to buy your property, there's a lot of back and forth weeks.
Garbage.
That's a lot of that.
Yeah. I don't think that's even getting people to ring their phones right now. Like,
agree.
Yeah.
I personally see it come into those, and I'm like, shoot, like you said, with the garbage, recycle
Yep.
bin,
Yep.
garbage. It
Yep.
doesn't even get your attention.
Yeah.
But that check,
That check
Yeah.
gets your attention.
you'll open it.
Yeah.
Even the letters still get your attention. We were looking at a letter
Yeah. It
a
really
few
does.
weeks
Like even
ago.
something like this, that looks like an invitation to like a party. It's blue. I don't know if you can tell, but
It
just the
does.
shape of it, like you don't see people sending stuff like that very often. So it's all about first step, keeping it out of the trash. Um, second step, making
Facts.
sure your date is right, so that when they open it, that they're like, I gotta call this person. Um,
It hits a
uh,
pain point.
yeah, here's kind of a crazy story talking about how important it is to have a not have a relationship, but like basically make the person on the other end of the phone really like talking to you. I had a client who lost a deal, and it was his first deal. He was so disappointed, and I was like, well, what the heck happened? And he was like, she called me and she said, I sold it to someone else. And he goes, well, for how much? And it was 10 grand less than she was going to sell it to him for. And he was like, you lost 10 grand. Why? And she's like, well, it was an older lady. I just really liked him. And he was like, you've got to be kidding me. It goes to show that that relationship is so important. And so that people will,
No,
that's part of my job as a direct marketing coach. I'm not just here to sell mail. I'm here to guide my clients so that they do it right and they don't mess it up and they don't waste their money. And everyone has my cell phone number, which sometimes I regret, but everyone can text me if they're like, I got a question, where's my mail, or Saturday morning, I've had this happen. I've been making pancakes for my boys and someone will text me and say, I got my first deal. That to me,
That's amazing.
that's amazing.
That's why I love my job. I will be here forever because I'm literally changing people's lives. It's not about the mail. It's about growing people's businesses.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
I'm just going to talk about experience from our end. When we first started, we said, okay, we're gonna do our own direct mail because we can do
Yeah.
it. So we
Everyone
printed
says
it out.
that.
Everyone says that. And then
Yeah.
we're gonna put them in the mailboxes where we're gonna do
Yeah.
door hangers. We're gonna do
Yeah.
it all. And it
Yeah.
comes to a point where you can't do it all. And what
Yeah.
we started to do was, okay, we outsourced it to my sister because she was working for us kind of like a college student. She was an intern.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
what happened was she was mailing them out on campus, but that, what is it called? That mailbox wasn't being looked at because they thought nobody was sending mail. So we had tons of mail when she finally asked,
No.
like, hey, like, I'm like, the calls are not ringing. Like, something's going on. She had tons of mail when she had them to open it, and they were like, okay, from now on, we're going to make sure we hit this one because we thought no one was using it.
Yeah, that's
So
not
to
good.
know that it's going out and
Yeah.
to know that there's systems in place, because we just thought we
Yeah.
were so smart. We're going to
Yeah.
create our own. Creating your
Yeah.
own is not always right. Okay.
Yeah.
It's not always right.
Yeah.
One real quick is keep in mind this call is for you guys. So if you got questions for Emmy, please ask your questions. She don't just do this for anybody. So I will say, if you have questions, whether it's marketing, direct mail, the database, anything, just ask your questions so that you can get some clarity. If you don't understand anything that we say, ask your questions so that we can help you grow your business in the process.
And that's exactly what the midday, I'm going to give you guys some time to start writing in your comments and asking some questions. That's exactly what the midday explosion is for. It's a challenge for the month of January to really get your business, get you focused, and get you ready to explode in all different areas when it comes to your business, when it comes to investing, when it comes to real estate, so that you can get off the sidelines and really get into the game. Our goal is to make sure you get into the game, and that's why we're here. No, we're not charging you for it. This is absolutely free that we're doing to make sure you have no excuses when it comes to starting your own business. You have no excuses when it comes to becoming a real estate investor. You have no excuses when it comes to scaling and becoming a full-time investor. The excuses are out of the door. Let's really get to the actionable items and steps on how you can take that progress and make 2023 amazing for you.
All right, I got a sidebar question.
You always do. Let's go.
All right, tell us tell us about your worst client.
Ooh.
Oh gosh, I've had some creepers. I've had I've had some creepers. I've had to block some people. I've had people offer to fly to take me to dinner.
Oh wow.
So that's, yeah. People are very. Trust me. I swear I've talked to probably a million people. I could talk all day long. I love talking to people. But man, my worst. Honestly, it's the people that are not organized. I'm telling you what. There's nothing. I work with spreadsheets all day. I put in offline orders where I have to sit and fill out these these offline orders. It's a lot to keep track of. Even when I got COVID, it was kind of terrible because no one can do this job for me. They're all my clients and they need me. So my worst client is someone who did not keep track of their removal list. So in other words, if let's say John calls in and he's like, F you, take me off your list. I don't want any more mail. If you don't get them off your list, you think John's going to be happy the second time he has to call you? No. So it's the people that are disorganized, and then they end up getting in trouble, honestly, from these people that they keep sending to, and then I end up getting in trouble, even though it wasn't my fault. It just gets a little dicey, and I have to put on my. I was a counseling major in college, so I got to put on my counseling hat sometimes and just validate, yes, I understand, and do all that stuff. But it's the people that aren't organized. Those are my worst clients. But for the most part, I've got good clients. I'm really clear about what I tell people. I have high expectations of you as my client, which sometimes people are like, well, that's kind of weird. And I'm like, well, why wouldn't I? Like, I want to know that you're doing what I'm telling you to do, because that's the only way you're going to be successful. So I've had to fire a couple clients that, there's just some things that aren't appropriate. So, but for the most part, before I got some stories, I can share some stories in Birmingham. Here's like a little, here's a little golden nugget. Here's a golden nugget. If you all show up, I'll buy you a drink, and I'll share some crazy stories in Birmingham, January 27th and 28th. Okay.
Let's go.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I actually for do something.
Go. Keep talking. It doesn't affect you. Go ahead.
So I am a dollars and cents type person.
Yeah. Yep.
If I was starting, I'm a brand new investor. I'm gonna say I don't have the VA set up. I don't have the back end set up like it needs to be. I'm a one-man shop. I'm just getting started. I work at T-Mobile still. I want to get into this. I want to start doing it. What type of budget do you think I need to have to send out some mailers to get my phones ringing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Another great question. My response to that is it depends on the market that you're in. So I'll tell you just kind of difference what I mean by that. California, you're going to have to send out probably 5,000 mailers to get a deal. Okay. If you're in Kentucky, you can send out 1,500 and possibly get a deal. And to be honest with you, those are averages. I have seen, I had a dude up in New York. He was a door knocker, him and his partner, door knockers, and he was so nervous. And he could only afford $1,200 worth of mail, which is about 1,500 mailers. He made $39,000 from that $1,200. So I'm going to say that there's a minimum that I personally don't like to go below. And that's not because I'm being weird about it. It's because part of my job is to make sure we send enough to fall within the probability range of actually closing a deal, which means if we're getting a 1% response rate, which is very normal, and it takes about 20 calls to get one deal, that means you're sending about 2,000 mailers, okay? And we're looking between probably $1,300 and $1,700. But keep in mind, you give me $1,500 and you get a deal and you flip the property and you make 40. I mean, it's a pretty good day.
That's a no-brainer.
And
I don't know
you
about
know what?
you.
Let's find out. You guys, if you had to spend $2,000 on marketing to get $40,000 in return, put in the
Yeah.
chat if it's a deal. If it's a deal, put deal. If not, put no deal. Let's find out.
Yeah.
So you're gonna put them on the spot like
Yeah, let's find out. Deal or no deal? What do you think?
deal or no deal? All right,
It's a deal for me.
it's a deal for you.
Yeah,
It's a
it's
deal,
a deal
for me.
I see it happen all the time. I had another success story. Well, here's a non-success story, just so that you guys know that I'm not just here to make everybody smile. I had a guy up in Philadelphia, and he sent out 10. Candace says deal. Not surprised.
Candace said deal.
He sent out
Absolutely.
he sent out 10,000 mailers. He should have gotten probably 4 deals from that. Yeah, LaTanya, you got to spend money to make money. That's right. He got 60 calls. He called me. He was like, I didn't get a deal. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, how many calls did you get? He's like 60. And I was like, all right, you should have gotten 4 deals from that. Turns out he was a terrible closer. So there are times when people say, Emmy, can you guarantee that I'm going to get a deal? I say, can you guarantee that you don't suck at closing? And it's my job is to get my job is to get your phone ringing. Your job is to do what you guys are teaching them to do and what I'm helping them do when they call me, which is here's how you close a deal. You know, here's how you actually make this work. So I don't know what the question was. I sometimes just start talking.
Oh, you all right?
You're good.
You
LaTanya
what
says,
other marketing approaches?
In addition to mailers, yep, what other marketing approaches do you take, and which is the next best to mailers in the Alabama market?
The next best to mailers, that's a fantastic question. So just so you all know, we don't personally provide like cold calling or like Facebook ads and things like that for people. But in no way would I tell everybody, drop what you're doing and just call me and just do direct mail, okay? Because the whole point of marketing, yes, I know this works. I see it work every day. But the whole point of marketing is to hit them from different points, right? Because sometimes people need to see something more than one time, okay? So, I mean, one of my best clients, he's in Dallas. Love him to death. He does a ton of direct mail. He does a ton of cold calling. So cold calling, it's inexpensive. It takes time, but you got to pull those lists, get a skip trace, call them. Y'all, I love driving for dollars. I love it. Driving around. Yeah.
I have experience in this, so I'm going to put you on the spot. And I know when we pull a list, a lot of times we stacking the list. So we're pulling absentee owners, tax foreclosure. If somebody had to go out and pull a list tomorrow, what list would you recommend them to pull?
Okay, again, depending on their market, here's the thing. I get this question a lot. In one county, there may be a ton of pre-foreclosure data. And in another county, there may be 2. So I have favorite lists I like to pull, but I don't really know which direction I'm going to go in until I get in and I see what's even available, right? I usually spend my first 10 or 15 minutes just kind of like clicky, click, click, click. Okay, here's what we got. Now let's start with my favorite one. So I love pre-foreclosure. I love a lot of times with vacant homes, that person, for example, left their home and they're helping their mom because she has cancer and they just left the house. That's going to be a pretty incredible conversation. Like, oh my gosh, just getting to know the person and their situation and offering to take the property off of their hands. I would say anyone calling, though, to look for those pain points. Tax delinquency, that's a good one. Pre-foreclosure. I mean, if you want, you could do out-of-state absentee and talk to someone who's owned a home maybe for 10 plus years and they're out of state absentee owners. Preferably, maybe they own 4+ properties. Okay, so think about that. They've been doing this for a long time and they got a lot of properties. Maybe filter in some tax delinquency there, like I said earlier. I mean, what I love to do is share what I can here and then get people on my calendar, because like Latanya is going to have a different situation than Candace, right? So that's why
Yes.
I love just getting people on my calendar. It's free. You can talk to me as much as you want, until I tell you to stop calling. But no, if you get on my calendar, then I can help you in your specific market and what you're trying to do. But just so you know, it's not always just about direct mail. There's other things that we talk about as well.
Love
Absolutely.
it.
There's so many different channels when it comes to marketing. As
Yeah.
long as you're mastering it, I think you'll be successful. You just have
Mhm.
to trial and error. For us, other
Yep.
things that work for us is Facebook marketing works for us.
Yep. Yep.
Facebook marketing is huge for us.
Mhm.
Um, Calling works for us. We have
Mhm.
quite a few virtual assistants that are consistently on the phone. They're calling, they're
Mhm.
reminding you of meetings that we have, they're reminding you of
Yeah.
things that we have going on. So that works really well for us.
Yeah.
What else works really well? And word of mouth. Tell people what you're doing.
That's the big
Yeah.
one, in my opinion.
Tell people what
Yeah.
you're doing, what you're looking
Yeah.
for, and you'll be surprised what comes that way.
Yeah.
All right. All
All
right.
right.
We're getting ready to wrap up.
Mhm.
And one, tell me about the Done For You program that you guys just started rolling out.
Yes, I wasn't sure if we'd have time for that.
Mhm.
Super quick, we bought a company about a year ago. It was called REI Vault. Only thing that we changed was the name. It now is called REI Complete. It's a complete service where we handle all of your marketing for you. And all you have to do is show up for that golden meeting, if you will, where you close the deal. Some people don't want to answer the phones, right? They don't want to deal with removals. They don't want to follow up. They don't want to deal with tire kickers. They have other things going on in their lives, or they want to scale so much that they couldn't handle that amount of calls coming in. So what we did is we purchased this company. They've been doing this for like 15, 16 years. It's kind of like a, if it ain't broke, don't fix it situation. We haven't changed a darn thing except the name. And what they do is they have their own proprietary lists, which you're paying for access to. I'm telling you, these are getting 3 to 4% response rates. That's like triple, quadruple what's normal in the direct mail world, because their lists are there. We don't even have access to them yet. We're trying to work on that. But what you'll do is you hop on a Zoom call with our guy, Darren. He walks you through your market, your zip codes. He'll tell you in a spreadsheet, if you do this mail piece in this zip code, you should get this result. You should close this many deals. It's very granular and very
Mhm.
clear data. People love it. And the mail goes out. You don't even look at a list. You don't get a copy of a list. They handle all of it on the back end. Because with the CRM, people call in, they hear a recorded message that is captured then through your CRM, that your team, you have a whole team that is just for you. They will then follow up on that lead through calling, texting, and ringless voice messages until they get a hold of them. If they hear a no, they don't scrap that lead. It goes into a bucket for 4 months later, because a no today doesn't mean it won't be a no in 4 months. If they get a hold of them, they
Absolutely.
screen them. They have that conversation. They get all the info. If they are ready, they do one of two things. Your team either puts them on your calendar or they add it as a task in your CRM. So you wake up every morning, grab your coffee, hop into your CRM, and you're like, okay, I got to call 7 people who have been pre-screened and want to sell their property. And what's incredible about it is while you're closing
Absolutely.
deals,
Good stuff. I'm excited.
while you're closing
Yay.
deals, they're following up on all those leads. So it's I could tell y'all more about it, but that's the general idea. Is it's just done for you marketing.
That was a good 1 minute clip of it.
That was good.
They
That
got
was
they
so
got to come to
good.
the conference and they got to come talk to you to get some more information on that one.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well,
Yep.
speaking of the conference, our early bird tickets are officially sold out now. So we are sold out when it comes to the early bird tickets. There are only a few general admission and VIP available. So make sure you come to the conference, make sure you register, and I want you to use promo code EMMIE, EMMIE for 50% off. So that way you can get 50% off of the conference. All right.
Yes.
You're about to say something, Antonio?
I'm looking at you. What's this thing?
Emmy, thank you so much. We're so happy that you were able to join us for the Midday Explosion.
Yeah,
You
thanks for having me.
guys, make sure you connect with Emmy, come to the conference so you can talk to her a little more in details. If following this you have any questions, drop it in the chat and we'll be sure to answer them for you. We are having another Midday Explosion tomorrow. Devontae Lee, which is one of our mentees, will be on to talk about his experience in investing.
Thank you undersold my boy a little bit.
Okay.
The Devontae is one of two of our first mentees that have built seven-figure portfolios.
Absolutely. All right. I'm sorry.
He's gonna get you for that.
He is. Because I always say he's the second mentee and not the first, but
Yes.
Devontae is the first mentee.
Yes.
And I'm excited to hear his story, his transformation, and how real estate has really changed his life and how real estate can change your life. So we'll see you same place, same time tomorrow at 1:30 p.m. Central. Thank you, Emmy, for coming.
You're welcome. Thank you, guys. Good to see you.
We'll see you in a few days.
Yes.
Alrighty. Thank you.
Thank you.